Happy Wednesday. It's me, Sarah, and welcome to this week's 6 Months to Sarah. I have no idea what I'm talking about most of the time. The odds are that 1 of 5 of you are actually watching this. So, hi, I'm like totally ratchet. I'm wearing sweatpants. I just worked out. I put on some lip gloss. It's not always about looking my best. It's about being my best. Hashtag blessed. That's right, I did all that. Let's do this video today. What do you say? Call it a day? All right, see you next week. I've been doing a lot of videos that are pretty heavy topics, a lot of soul searching and trying to figure out what it is that is getting me stuck in the same routines and patterns and bad relationships, and was what I talked about last week about why I can't sustain friendships. And I addressed that I feel like a lot of it has been selfishness and not really being accountable and my role in a friendship.
I make a mess.
What did you do? You
Hi.
said, oh.
What's your deep?
No, what did you do?
Wallabies.
Okay, give me a kiss. Give me a kiss first. All right. I actually recently was thinking back to when I was pregnant with Violet, who's the one that just came in. One of the worst times in my life. I don't want to get into too much of her father's history because that's his business, but I will say that there were some challenges in that relationship and that I had to start from scratch with nothing. No job, no money, no savings at 6 months pregnant. And I knew the relationship was toxic. Now I have to preface by saying now everything is fine. We are great. We're friends. We get along. It just wasn't in the time a healthy situation. And I knew that I had to get out. And I was really at a low point. You know, I was now pregnant with my second child at 34. I guess I was 34, and I knew I felt trapped in a situation with someone that I wasn't in love with, who had some issues that were over my head that I couldn't deal with. And I just remember feeling like I had ruined my life. I remember every day waking up with this empty feeling of, that's it, you know, I don't have a career, I don't have a husband, I don't even have a prospect of any future, and I have completely destroyed my life. And I remember thinking, well, now you got to marry this guy because it looks bad if you don't marry him. And some of my own family was like saying, why wouldn't you just be with him? He has money, he's good looking. And there was no way I could be with him at that time in his life. I was actually going to a church at that time, and something I had heard just woke me up, and it was like the pastor was literally like, if you're in a bad situation, get your stuff and leave now. And through some series of events, I ended up leaving with Solara, my older daughter. We got a hotel, and then I stayed with my dad while working and trying to figure out what I was going to do. I mean, when I tell you that was beyond depressing, now I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like I'm some kind of martyr or victim, because yes, I got pregnant in a bad situation and that is my responsibility, but that doesn't take away from the depths of depression that I was really in during that time. It wasn't like I was crying every day. It was worse. It was the feeling of this was it. Like it was worse than being depressed, because I felt like there was actually no hope for my future. I felt like I didn't want to have this pregnancy, but I knew I didn't want to have an abortion, and I felt an overwhelming sense of nothing, kind of sadness, a dull feeling and I had her, and that didn't make it any easier after. I mean, of course, that unconditional love immediately for her, which you've seen her, she's beautiful, and I don't regret any of it, and she is a magical, wonderful person who was destined to be in this world. But just because I had her didn't make anything easier. I had a C-section, and I was by myself. I gained 60 pounds, so I didn't feel good about myself. I was just lost. I remember taking Violet when she was a little baby. It was around the holidays too. She was born December 9th. And just taking her for a walk around town and just looking at all the families and looking at all the people and feeling so alone. I can't remember a time that I felt more alone, ironically, than after, you know, I had her. Because just because you become a mom, you know, but this is great. I just kind of felt like my life was over. I was depressed. I wasn't being totally there for my older daughter, and she sensed that I was depressed. And listen, guys, I'm not here to just talk to you about good times and being positive. If I'm here to talk to you about why I am the way I am and the reason that started this. It's important to know where I came from to see where I am and who I am, the person I am today. This week I wanted to talk about this particular time in my life and how it kind of shaped and molded me into certain things, good and bad. And, you know, like I said, I had Violet. She was little. I was pretty much on my own. And, you know, it was hard. It was lonely. I didn't feel good physically. I had a lot of extra weight on me, and people say, oh, you just had a baby. Give yourself some slack. For someone who has body issues like I've had my whole life, that doesn't make me feel better. I didn't feel good. It was just horrible. You know, it was like a horrible time in my life besides being a mother. And listen, I don't even, like, it goes without saying that being a mother is wonderful. Being a mother is beautiful. You don't need someone to tell you that your kids fulfill you in a way. Yes, that isn't what this is about. So the love of a child and the mother-daughter-child really is different from loneliness in other areas and hardships and depression. So we need to stop feeling guilty as mothers for also feeling lonely, depressed, or having hard times in our lives. Just because you have a child does not fulfill no one thing or person can fulfill every single need, nor should they. It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy to put all of that into your child or your spouse or anybody. No one person can fill that whole void. You need to find other things to fill that, including yourself, and for me, God. And you know, I never thought I would get through that time. And as time went on, about a year, I had lost the weight, and let me backtrack. So when I had left her dad at 6 months pregnant, like I said, I didn't know what I was gonna do. I had no job. I went back to waitressing at 6 months pregnant, and it wasn't an easy pregnancy. I mean, my feet swelled up. I was extremely fatigued to the point where I was so tired. It took everything in me to take a shower. I would wake up and I would just I would have zero energy. I remember taking a walk down the street and I would just feel so tired, and that makes you depressed. And it just, I'm the first to say I don't like being pregnant. I love the outcome, don't like the pregnancy. It happened both times. And when they say girls steal your beauty, it's absolutely true. So I was just basically starting from scratch. I had to find an apartment. I had to find a job. I had to find all this stuff with nothing. And my credits took shit, pretty much. No, not pretty much. If you had $1 million and if someone always gave you a check, and if you, were struggling and you always had someone there to be like, here you go. Oh my gosh, my car broke. Here you go. Oh God, I'm in the store. Here you go. That would never build character, my friends. That would never build strength. That would never build muscle, tearing down your muscles to make them stronger. And in the moments of tearing down and in your weakest moment is when you build the most character. It is so true, because when you look back, I look back at what I did in that time and I'm like, how the F did I do that? I mean, no money, nothing. I just worked my ass off. I saved up money. Somehow I found an apartment in Jersey, back to where I was. I got a job. I made it work. Somehow I had nothing, and I just, in the midst of being pregnant and alone, I got it together. Somehow I found a place to live, a job, and I never cracked. I wanted to crack. I felt alone every day. I mean, I was very involved in church at the time, and I think people at the church were there for me, and a lot of people did things for me that even in the moment of my struggles and my distress, I didn't even see the support that I had through that church. And I don't go there anymore, but I'm unbelievably grateful for the people in that church, because had I not had that, I mean, they're the ones that brought me food after I had the baby. Sometimes people are in your life for a season, reason, lifetime, you know that whole saying. And definitely that season of my life, that was my lifeline. If I had not had that, I would have completely crumbled and I didn't even want to get out of bed. It was really bad. My point is that I'm sharing these stories with you because, you know, that Violet is now going to be 3 next month. December 9th, she'll be 3. 3 years ago, I didn't even want to get out of bed. I didn't know I didn't think I had a future ahead of me. I thought that this was what life was. I thought that I had messed it up so bad that this was my punishment. I thought because of my careless choices and because of all my mistakes that this was my punishment, to be alone and to be sad and for no one to love me and to just, be as good a mother as I can, and that was it. And that's what I thought. And I'm not saying that to be dramatic, but that is truly what I thought. I believed it to the core of my being. I spent so many nights feeling empty and sad and lonely and ugly and ashamed and just everything you can feel, that when I sit here now, 3 years later, in these struggles that I'm in, I am eternally grateful that I know what it's like to be at a rock bottom. You don't know what it's like to rise from the ashes if you've never been in the fire. So if you're going through something right now, you know, like where you don't even want to get out of bed, where you feel like there's no hope, where you feel like you messed up so bad that you don't even have the strength to take a shower, I want you to listen to my story, because I never, and I'm a hopeful person. If anyone knows me, they know that I have hope. No matter what, I always have some hope. In that time in my life, in that season of my life, I just thought life was over and that I was just a loser and that I was just destined to be whatever. And I can tell you now, I don't believe that lie for 1 second. And I am so grateful for going through those hard times, because they built so much character in me that when I need strength, I go back into the times where I felt like I was nothing. And I say, you know what, Sarah? You take that strength and you build yourself back up again. So whatever you're going through, whether it's a job or a relationship, or whatever, you take that as strength and you use it as fuel, and know that 3 years from now, you're going to be totally different. But you're not going to be totally different if you don't believe it. If I just believed it, maybe I could have wasted less time. Maybe I could have gotten less, toxic relationships in these past 3 years. Maybe I could have drew from my own strength. Maybe I could have found my own joy, but I didn't, and it is whatever. I mean, honestly, the past is the past. Dust in the wind. Let's not dwell, as they say. Let's just move on. Today, I needed to talk to you and me. When I talk about these stories, I still get emotional because it was so raw and so real, and it was so hard. I wouldn't wish that on anyone, that feeling that I had. But I know now, sitting here in my bedroom 3 years later in the same apartment I moved in when I had nothing, I'm still here. I'm here. 2-bedroom with 3 girls. It's not hard. No, I'm just kidding. You know what? I'm grateful for this apartment because I found something. And I'm not who I was 3 years ago. I am stronger. I am better. I am happier. I find more joy in my life. And it is a blessing to realize that. So like I said, if you feel like you need some encouragement, I hope that my stories encourage you. Anything is possible. And talk to yourself as if you were you 3 years from now, or 2 years from now, or 1 week from now, or 1 month from now, and say, you know what? You're gonna get through this. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna survive, and you're gonna be stronger. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend, and I will be back soon to talk more. Have a blessed day.